There we go. All right. Hi, Monica. Hi, Janine. All right. So if you missed that, it is Monday, May the 1st, and it is 6 o'clock, and we are going to make tonight something that's not in the catalog, but it definitely will come back in the fall because it is a very popular product. So we're going to use our apple sage stuffing. I didn't really get to use that seasoning in the fall. So we're going to do some apple sage stuffed pork chops tonight. And I'm kind of excited about this because I saw the recipe and I thought, you know what? This is definitely something I want to try. So first off, let's get our air fryer on for a minute. We want to just toast off our bread. So I'm really just going to put it on for a minute just to toast that bread. All right, so I have just a sourdough bun that I had left over. It's probably a day old, so probably a good thing. And so I've cubed that up. And I have here a Golden Delicious, or I think it's a Golden Delicious apple. So we're going to chop that up while that air fryer is heating up. I'm just taking the core out because nobody wants a mouthful of core when they're eating an apple sage stuffed pork chop. So I am going to peel it and quickly I'm going to peel it and chop it into bite-sized pieces, and we'll get it into the frying pan just to toast off with some butter, to cook down with some butter. So it shouldn't take too long. I'm going to cut the pieces pretty small, and that way we're just going to saute them up in the frying pan with some butter. Then we're going to add our cubed bread and some of our nourish broth, our chicken broth, and our sage and apple stuffing. Then, while that is just hanging out in the pan, we're going to slice a pocket into these pork chops, and we'll see how many we get. It calls for 4 boneless pork chops. And the recipe we'll post to my page later on. I think it's like 8 o'clock tonight. I got it posting, so that if you're interested, you can see what it's all about. I could leave the skin on. To be honest with you, I have not tried this recipe, so I'm going to take it off this time. If I was in a really big rush, I probably wouldn't, but I think tonight we're going to take it off just to save us some face. All right. Now, I could cook these pork chops in the oven. Okay, there goes our air fryer, so let's get our bread in there. Like I said, it's just going in for a minute, so it's really just to toast it off. And we're having fun tonight, like we do every night. All right, let's get those over there, and let's get our bread. Like I said, it's just cubed bread, nothing on it. I just really want to toast it for that 1 minute. All right, I just want to cut this apple into bite-sized pieces and small bite-sized pieces, just because, as I've always said, when you're trying to get dinner on the table in less than 30 minutes, the smaller you cut stuff, the faster it will cook. Now, I don't want it to disintegrate, so we're going to watch it very quickly, very closely. All right. So, I have seen, and I was looking for actually, I bought pork chops last night at the grocery store, and I was kind of looking for, and maybe somebody out there in my Epicure land has the recipe, because I haven't been able to find it. Maybe Roberta or Mary. I know there's a recipe out there that calls for the sage and apple stuffing mix, and it calls for your apple juice and putting your putting your pork chops in the slow cooker, in the crock pot, and cooking them that way. So if anybody happens to have that recipe, I haven't been able to find it. Now, I haven't done a real good search, so I will continue to search for it. But let's get this. Okay, they can probably go for another minute. So I'm going to let them go for another minute. All right, we just need a tablespoon of butter in our pot, and we're going to get that heated up. So we have our saute pan here, and I have some butter here on the countertop. Now, I went into the grocery store and, sorry, I should have done this before because this butter is hard. So I went into the grocery store to get apples. And depending on the grocery store you go into, there's a ton of apples out there. So there was Red Prince, and there was Ambrosia, and there was Golden Delicious, there was Red Delicious, there was Royal Gala, there was Spies, there was, oh my God, like I just want an apple. So how do you choose, right? So I kind of did an eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and looked up online to see which one was kind of the softer version. So I came out with two. I came out with the Golden Delicious, which we're going to use tonight, and I came out with the Royal Prince. I think it's called the Royal Prince because I've never tried one of those. So we're going to try one of those one of these days. Apples are great, a fantastic nighttime snack with Greek yogurt and some of our super sweet dips. So our baked apple, or our cran apple, or our summer berry, or our new one, our strawberry margarita mixed into your yogurt. Yeah, delicious. All right, so our recipe says add butter and apples to the frying pan and saute over medium-high heat until your apples are soft. So let's get our apples in there, get those sauteing away. Our bread is toasted. I'm going to turn up the heat on these apples a bit. Possibly not a good idea because I'm not overly familiar with the stove, but we'll see. All right. So our apples are in the pot, and they're going to saute with a tablespoon of butter. Our bread is toasted, so we can get that out. And it's golden. I just don't want to melt those. Ouch. Don't touch the air fryer when it's hot, guys. Okay, there's our toasted bread. We're going to need that air fryer momentarily because I'm going to put the pork chops, the stuffed pork chops, into the air fryer. So, where did I put the pork chops? There they are. All right, so while our apples are sauteing, we'll give those a stir. They're sizzling. Now I'm going to assume you don't really want an overly sweet apple with this. I could be wrong. You might like applesauce with your pork chops, and maybe you want a very sweet apple. That's where you kind of can choose an apple based on what you're looking for, right? If you're looking for really sweet, or you're looking for tart, or you're looking for something that is crisp, or something that's soft, this is where the apple that you use comes into play, okay? So a lot of things that we can control in this recipe tonight. We can control how much spice we're going to put in. So it calls for a tablespoon. And we're going to use a tablespoon. Just because, like I said, this is the first time I'm doing this recipe. And as I have said to you guys in the past, first time I do a recipe, I like to follow the recipe to know how I can tweak it. Okay, so now we just want to cut a pocket in our pork chops. So I don't want to cut all the way through to the base. I just want to cut a big enough pocket that I can stuff them. And I think that's good. All right. And I'm just cutting off some of that fat because there is a nice cap of fat on these. Not cutting it all off because, let's face it, pork chops, some of them do need some fat. And so I'm just cutting a big enough pocket there, guys, that I can stuff these. So I think these are good. I'm actually going to throw that one in the fridge because it's a smaller one. I'm going to use the other 4. Because they seem a little bit bigger. All right. And again, we're just going to slice down the middle of that just to get a nice pocket in that. And last one. Pork chops are a very reasonable cut of meat. You can often get them on sale. This recipe, I would probably say you're looking for a boneless pork chop. One that is a little bit on the thicker side, only because you want meat, right? To slice one of those thin, fast fry pork chops, good luck. So, yeah, I would highly recommend kind of a thicker cut of pork on this one. All right. So our apples are actually coming along nicely here. Now you do want to season your pork chops because, my apples are actually nice and dark and brown on one side. Ooh, and they smell delicious. I could add some cinnamon to this and dinner is served. All right. Okay, so they're browned up nicely there. Let's throw in so to this we're going to add, so heat until apple is soft and browned. Add the sage and apple stuffing seasoning and your bread, black pepper, which I'm not going to add because I don't like black pepper. You can definitely add it in there. So we're going to add our sage and apple stuffing mix. So a tablespoon of sage and apple stuffing. And guys, remind me to show you those. You can see the apple pieces in there. You can see the sage. You can smell all the deliciousness. Oh. You can smell the poultry seasoning in there. Okay, in goes our bread. And it's nice and toasted. Now we need a 1/4 cup, and I've got a 1/2 cup out. I should have used that for my pork chops. Got a 1/2 cup out of our nourish broth, and I just pre-made it. And it's really just to soften that bread down to a stuffing consistency. So the reason I went with a little bit more was because I used a sourdough roll. So I used a sourdough roll from Cobb's Bakery, which is very dense and very thick. Very thick. So they're a day old, which is great for stuffing. And I think that's it. Now I think we're just going to heat that through. So I'm going to turn off the heat. and put the lid on just while we season our pork chops, which will heat that through. All right, we're cooking with gas here, guys. All right, so our pork chops. Now, like I said, I just want to season them up because this stuffing is seasoned, is well seasoned, but the outside of your pork chop really isn't seasoned at all. So you could use salt and pepper. You could use our SPG. I love our Canada seasoning on our on pork chops. Oh, if you have not tried our Canada seasoning on pork chops, I challenge you to try it because it is delicious. That maple with like a maple bacon flavor. Oh my goodness. It is to die for. To die for. So we're going to grab a Ziploc baggie. And of course, these ones are not open because why would they be? All right, we got a Ziploc baggie. And I should have done this earlier, but hey, I've just walked in the door and we got to get dinner ready. I didn't mean. Okay, so we got a Ziploc baggie. We have our pork chops, so we're going to throw them in there. We've already sliced them up. There they go. All right, we can get rid of this into our garbage pail. All right, so we have our Canada seasoning. I think I have an open one. Yes, I do. All right. So there's about a tablespoon in there. I'm just going to dump it in there. One jar empty. All right. We're going to throw in a little bit of olive oil. Just a touch. So olive oil and Canada seasoning is all I put in there. And we're just going to massage that for a minute. Just get those coated. And if I was doing this in advance, I'd make sure that the inside was coated too. Because, hey, let me tell you, maple and apples. Oh, this is going to be delicious, guys. I'm going to have to patent this recipe. All right. Okay, let's get, so those are nicely coated. We're going to get the air fryer working. So we're going to pop it on 400 degrees for about, I'm going to say 16 minutes. It might take 18 for these, so I'm going to pop it on 18 just to be safe, but we'll check it after 16. Okay, start. All right, let's get this. Let's stuff these pork chops. We gotta do them quick because that air fryer is already warm. Not gonna take long at all. Now my hands are going to get messy. Guarantee it. Guarantee it. Okay. We have what looks incredible, our sage and apple stuffing mix. Oh. Pull out one of these pork chops and flip it open here. We're going to put some of this, probably not the best tool to fill this with. Spoon there. All right. Now remember that you've got 4 pork chops here to stuff. So, but there is quite a bit of stuffing here, so you're going to want to stuff them a good amount. And you're going to pop them into your... Now, you could also make this stuffing, throw it into the bottom of a Pyrex dish and throw your pork chops on top of it. If you're in a real rush, you could cook the pork chops, cook the stuffing, and have stuffing and pork chops. Like, you don't have to stuff them. But our air fryer is going off already, and I only got 2 pork chops stuffed. So let's hurry this up. All right. Now, if you have leftover stuffing, guys, you could always throw it in the oven, throw it in the steamer, in the microwave, throw it in the air fryer, whatever your choice is, and serve it on the side. Or we could have cut those 5 pork chops. Mind you, the 5 pork chops are not going to fit in my air fryer basket, so that's okay. And if you had bigger pork chops, you could make bigger slits. So I don't have too much left over, but I do have some left over. I will show you in a minute. All right, so there's our stuffed pork chops going into our air fryer. As soon as I get my hands rinsed off. All right. And we have a towel. All right, let's get these pork chops into our air fryer basket. Right, pork chops into the air fryer basket. So there is our O Canada seasoned pork chops stuffed with our sage and apple stuffing. Don't they look delicious? Into the air fryer. So we got 17 minutes and dinner should be done. Now, what are you going to serve this with? You could serve this with steamed green beans out of the microwave. You could serve this with steamed corn on the cob. You could serve this with a salad. You could serve this with O Canada seasoned roasted potatoes. Yeah, I know. We have bread in our stuffing, and we have, yeah, we don't need any more carbs. I don't need any more carbs. But, yeah, so we have a little bit of stuffing left. I can throw that into the air fryer, or I can just turn this back on the heat and heat it up a little bit more in the pot, and we're ready to go. So 17 minutes and our pork chops will be done, and that's dinner. So I am serving them tonight. I'm just having a pork chop tonight. I'm not overly hungry at the moment, so a pork chop will be just enough for me, with some leftover sage apple stuffing. Sounds delicious to me. So I hope you got something out of this. I will take pictures when these pork chops come out of the air fryer, and I will post exactly how long they took in the air fryer. So right now they're on 400 degrees. We put them in about the 17-minute mark. So I may have to kick it up to 20 minutes, just depending on how well that pork's cooked. But we have our handy dandy internal thermometer that we can check the pork when the air fryer goes off to make sure that it's cooked, and so you're not serving your family raw pork. All right, that's Monday night, and that's dinner in a flash. This should be ready within 30 minutes. It's going to take a little bit longer than 30 minutes tonight because I was flipping around with my stuffing, but that's okay. So by the time the air fryer goes off, it'll have been 40 minutes from start to finish, and dinner will be on the table. So I hope you're having a wonderful night. I hope you're having the wonderful beginning of May. I have posted our sales for the month, and I'm super excited to see that we have double host credits this month. So if you're interested in some things in the catalog, shoot me a message. Let's get you some kind of party booked, whether it's an hour-long Facebook chat or whether it's your own private link. Let's do this. all right, and get you lots of free products out of the catalog. Okay, guys, have a wonderful evening, and like I said, I'll take pictures and post them as soon as this is done. All right, have a good evening. Bye for now.